Todd Beasley developed a fan base following his inclusion as part of the main cast in the reality television series My Big Fat Fabulous Life. He was one of the close friends of the main star of the show, Whitney Way Thore, whom he met when he was in high school. The TV show became a hit on the TLC cable channel, as it encouraged people in their self-worth, women empowerment, and positive body image issues. Todd witnessed her struggles and had been there to lend a listening ear, as well as provide her with practical advice. Many reality TV shows came to fruition for unexpected reasons. My Big Fat Fabulous Life was conceptualized due to a YouTube video. In 2015, some TLC network executives learned of a video that went viral, entitled "Fat Girl Dancing, Talk Dirty to Me." Social media was just starting to take center stage, and it was such a big deal at the time when a video trended online. The fat girl was identified as Whitney Way Thore from North Carolina. Her family and friends were shocked that the video trended. When it was uploaded to YouTube, they never thought it would go viral, as Whitney was just working as one of the producers at the 107.5 KZL radio show called Jared and Katie in the Morning. Whitney is a plus-sized woman, and they found it amazing that she could dance that well despite her size, so her co-workers shared it online. Noting the interest that it generated from the public, TLC offered Whitney a reality TV show, which premiered on the 13th of January 2015 and has been regaling the viewers with her exploits since then. It debuted its 10th season on the 9th of August 2022, and people continue to clamor for more. Since My Big Fat Fabulous Life was conceptualized due to Whitney's dancing skills, it was only appropriate that her dancing partner in the video was included in a reality TV show. Get to know more about Todd Beasley and his personal connection with the main star. Todd was born on the 17th of April 1985 in Greensboro, North Carolina, where he and most of his family were raised. Even as a young kid, he was into performing arts such as singing and dancing, and when he discovered that he could carry a tune, he became part of their local church choir, and often would find himself in the cast of musical plays in his hometown. His love for performing continued to develop in high school, as he joined many of the school plays at Southeast Guilford High School in Greensboro. But it was his passion for dancing that led him to meet Whitney Way Thore. She attended the same high school, and they developed a close friendship, starting after they became dancing partners in the school production of the musical Grease. Todd portrayed the role of Kinnicky Murdoch, while Whitney played the role of Cha-Cha Di Gregorio. Todd subsequently graduated with a bachelor's degree in musical theater from Elon University in North Carolina, following which he flew to New York City to follow his dream of becoming a stage actor on Broadway. Todd only returned to Greensboro when Whitney asked him to be her dancing partner, as she was trying to get back to her former healthier self, which led to the Fat Girl Dancing video. TLC producers saw that his inclusion in the TV show aligned with their plans of presenting the inspiring life of Whitney. He immediately agreed, as it was a great platform for teaching people how to dance. Being a reality TV show meant that there were cameras around, but it seemed that Todd was comfortable with it, especially since most of the cast members were his friends, including a cousin, Ashley Baines, who was also one of Whitney's best friends. Viewers were pleasantly surprised when it was revealed that for a time back in high school, Todd dated one of the cast members in the show, Heather Sykes, who was introduced into the series during the second season. Apparently, she was also part of the Southeast Guilford High School production of Grease, playing the role of Betty Rizzo. The fans surmised that it was probably the time when Todd still preferred dating girls. Todd has been part of My Big Fat Fabulous Life since it was launched, embroiled in many of the interesting dramatic scenarios in it. One of the reasons the TV show My Big Fat Fabulous Life became such a hit among women with weight issues was that Whitney inspired them to be positive about their body shapes. Todd, being a dance teacher, helped Whitney by offering big girls dance classes in Greensboro. The two provided those women with a space where they could dance freely without being judged about their appearance or dancing skills. It was quite successful, as many people enrolled in their classes. Todd became at odds with BFF Whitney about the Big Girl Dance Tour. Apparently, Whitney wanted to recreate the magic that she felt while dancing and thought that organizing a BGD tour would help ignite the spark. However, Todd wasn't so sure of her plans, knowing that her skills weren't in organizing events. He said that she already had difficulties in creating a dance routine for the tour, so how much harder would it be when she also had to make arrangements in scheduling the tour as well as venues? Sure enough, during the Pittsburgh stop, the venue that she rented couldn't fit in the 500 participants who bought tickets for the class, but they eventually found a solution to their problem. The tour went on successfully despite all the similar issues that they encountered further along. However, Todd realized that planning a tour wasn't for them and said that they should just have remained in Greensboro. Whitney was a witness to what she referred to as Todd's 4 a.m. escapades. Apparently, Todd had a habit of dropping unannounced into Whitney's home around 4 in the morning. There would be times when she heard someone moving in the kitchen and thought that it was an intruder, only to find Todd putting trays of casseroles into the fridge that he cooked for her. Todd said that he wanted to go in and out of Whitney's home without being detected, but wasn't always successful. There were also times when he would walk her dogs very early in the morning as part of his own daily exercise. My Big Fat Fabulous Life fans commented online that they wanted to have a friend like Todd, who sometimes acted like a loving grandmother. Whitney said that she had long given up on understanding why he did what he did and just accepted her friend's early morning antics, as aside from having a great friend, she gained a cook extraordinaire, house sitter, and pet walker. According to many fans on social media, one of Todd's best traits as a friend was always reality checking out Whitney in the show. He didn't hide his views on certain issues, especially if he thought that his friend was out of line or deluding herself. For instance, in one of the recent seasons of My Big Fat Fabulous Life, he discovered that Whitney had a new love interest, having met a French guy via a language exchange app. He would temper down his friend's expectations as he reasoned that it would be best from the get-go that his friend approach the situation logically. He would often advise Whitney that she might think that she was into the new guy, but it might not be the case, especially since they'd only met online and was her language tutor. Among Whitney's friends, it was Todd who would immediately burst her bubble and tell her that the French teacher could have a family somewhere, so it would be best not to invest too much emotion. He would remind her about entering long-distance relationships and aiming for another unattainable guy. However, he knew that the way Whitney's brain operated, he wouldn't be surprised if she'd already planned her wedding vows in French. She was in love with the concept of falling in love and would always believe that she was in an exclusive relationship, even if the guy was 1,000 miles away. He could only do so much as to make her face reality by telling her the truth, and had already accepted that he would always be the bad guy in these situations. Even longtime loyal and supportive friends can easily get into fights because they knew that after what had been said and done, they'd remain friends. Todd and Whitney enjoyed this kind of friendship for decades. There was one time when the two fought when she thought that Todd quit on her in the dance class. In one season of the show, the two attended a party of their mutual friends' kids and traded barbs, which ended up with a frustrated Todd smacking Whitney's face with a piece of birthday cake. Apparently, she told all their friends, clients, and family that he quit on her, when Todd said that he was just taking a break from it all. One of their friends tried to keep the peace between them by telling them that they needed to stop, because it was obvious that each one had a different perspective on what transpired. However, Whitney wouldn't stop repeating that Todd quit on her, because it was a known habit of hers that if she had an idea in her head, she would latch onto it even if others would tell her otherwise. Still, their friendship wasn't destroyed by this altercation, as they were used to having these little fights. There was a popular YouTube fitness star named Caleb, a fitness marshal, and Todd had the idea of reaching out to the guy to collaborate for a dance video, and arranged to attend the popular fitness marshal dance class with Whitney in New York. However, during the class, Todd found himself going out of the room so he could puke. No reason was given, but it happened many times. In the end, Caleb only chose Whitney to join him in a dance video that they later on uploaded online. In fairness to her, she asked Caleb if she could bring Todd along, but the YouTube star disapproved. Todd was quite frustrated that he acted like a jerk toward Whitney, which wasn't fair, as it was beyond her control. Some viewers understood his actions, but others thought that Whitney should recognize it as a red flag in choosing friends. Todd experienced some shooting pain during the dance routine that Whitney was teaching, which caused a major discussion online between fans of My Big Fat Fabulous Life. Some of them expressed their dismay that Whitney, who could see everyone clearly in the dance class, ignored her friend who was obviously in pain, holding his thigh while sitting on the floor. It took a while before Whitney approached Todd, which they said was unacceptable, even arguing that he was in her line of sight and it would be impossible for her not to notice him. Some fans argued that it could be a case of Whitney being totally engrossed in what she was doing, because it wasn't logical for her to ignore Todd, since it wouldn't do great things for her image, unless that scenario was scripted to make the show more interesting. One of the things that Todd and Whitney usually fought about was Todd's tardiness. Some fans of the show bashed him on his social media account about his annoying habit. In an October 2022 episode, the two friends fought again when Whitney told Todd that she was losing money over his tardiness. They were rehearsing for a dance video that they needed to upload in time for the No BS app anniversary. The problem was that it was difficult to pin down Todd to make it on time for the rehearsals. Whitney already expected it, but Todd promised that he wouldn't be late during the filming of the video, but saying that he preferred everyone was already there ready to shoot when he arrived. However, he was 45 minutes late for filming, so Whitney was quite annoyed with him, but couldn't waste any more time. The filming went well without her lashing out at him. During the 10th season of the TV show, viewers were pleasantly surprised when they saw Todd and Whitney, along with their other friends, go out after the COVID-19 quarantine period was over. People commented that it was nice of him to accompany Whitney, as the quarantine regulations didn't sit well with her mental health. Apparently, she had a hard time dealing with being cooped up in her home during that time. Todd stole the limelight because of his glow-up moment, an online slang for impressive physical appearance or skill upgrade. They found him quite attractive with his new hair color, haircut, and total look. After being on the small screen for 10 seasons, My Big Fat Fabulous Life had constantly been accused by some viewers of being scripted. It wasn't the only TV series that received this criticism, as most, if not all, reality TV shows at some point in their existence were called fake. The accusations became even more evident whenever there were arguments or fights between the cast members. Sometimes the showrunners would take inspiration from daily TV soaps and insert dramatic confrontations to make the show even more compelling. More often than not, these fights generated more views, but as the narrative was controlled, all would be resolved in later episodes. Loyal fans of the show over the years observed that most of the arguments between Todd and Whitney were forced. The reasons behind those fights were quite trivial, and was why they hadn't escalated into something deeper or darker. The main star of the show would often clap back at the haters and reiterate that the show was edited but not scripted. Some reality TV fans, especially the newer ones, hadn't yet realized that these shows were guided reality, which meant that some of the situations that were presented in the show were already discussed by the writers and the stars. The drama didn't necessarily happen in real time, but could have in the past, and the reason for them looking unnatural was that they weren't professional actors. Nonetheless, it didn't mean that the showrunners never indulged in creating confrontations within their shows, as most viewers lapped up those scenes whenever the stars' tempers flared up. Such is so-called reality TV. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.